symbols. And they said that the Muslims recognize the Virgin Mary, not necessarily as the Virgin Mary, but as the mother of Jesus.
Yeah.
Which I thought was, I had never heard anything like that, and I thought that was really interesting.
Well, we're learning some interesting things. I'm looking for the thing you had, Mary, that on Muslims.
Oh, the book,
Yeah.
My Neighbor's Faith.
What was it called? Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought I brought it, but I don't see. Anyway, it lays out also some of the ways by which we can be good neighbors to Muslims, and it recognizes also the 5 pillars. Do I have that listed on the back there? The 5 pillars? No, I don't think I do. The 5 kind of key teachings of the Muslim faith, and they recognize Jesus as being a prophet. They don't use the word son of God. Of course, we have Abraham as a common father, and so they have a very respectful attitude about the way in which they talk about Jesus and the kind of core message that he had. And you mentioned like the recognition of Mary.
Yeah, I guess there, at some time in, way back, the Muslims attacked this city that this is in.
Yes.
But they left that because they had such reverence
Yeah.
for her.
So it may be that sometime in the coming year, when we're going into some more subject, we might want to do one just on Muslims, and we can maybe invite somebody to come in and talk about how it is we're working together, as well as maybe bringing Rabbi Bell in, because she's been a part of a Bible study up on campus that several of our members have gone to, and she's worked with Pastor Joe Everson, who was on the faculty for many years up at CLU, who is a Old Testament scholar, so it's amazing how we've been able to kind of start learning from each other in some very important ways. Let's see if there's any other particular pieces here. How are we doing? All right, we talked about the engaging others and knowing ourselves, that book, which is a wonderful summary of a lot of our work that we're doing now with the multi-religious world out there, as well as kind of the bilateral work that we've done between Jewish and Lutheran dialogue, which has been going on for a long time, and a new interreligious task force that has been reestablished that's going to also kind of take us into the next steps together. So in this, on this page 2, we have some things about Lutheran, Muslim, and local interactions. I think that we really recognize that with all the negative stuff that's being said about Muslims, that we really need to stand up and speak honestly and healthily about them. I mean, we can go back to even like to the 8th commandment, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Luther said you got to be very careful about how you talk about other people and what you say about them. If you're not sure, shut up. You know, get it right. Don't pass on the bigoted statements we've used in the past. Anyway, then in that book, Daryl Jodak summarizes the points here about we have a common calling as followers of Jesus to serve the neighbor. 2, we challenge misinformation, which contributes to the well-being of societies. We described other groups today. They prefer language like spiritual rather than religious. So we're kind of learning how to speak to another whole community of people out there today. We've been called to be peacemakers. We have an understanding of faith that says that we can be dialogical in dialogue, and then we'll discover kind of things that we can do together. And it may be in that service area where we most have learned that that drawing together of God's people to serve basic needs is kind of one of the most basic things. Okay, let me stop there. Mary, go ahead.
Oh, I just want to say that I've just participated in a couple of events recently through Ascension that have been interfaith. And we've been working on some of the refugee work, and that has been really an interfaith venture. And putting together baskets for welcoming them And we had a meeting, one of them that I went to that was at the Mormon stake. And they had a group, and they have been, one of their people has been very instrumental in working in an interfaith relationship. In fact, there was a dinner there at our church, and I think we had about 10 people who came. It was a potluck kind of a thing. So it's really been very heartwarming for me to see us be able to work together on things that really matter for the whole, for the good of humanity, and looking us at all human beings and how we can help other people and working in that dimension together. So I think we've got some good things that are starting. And on this tutoring program now that we're starting, there's the temple down the street. I heard they had put it in their bulletin, and so I got a call from one of their members who's going to be working with us in the tutoring program. So I just think that the more that we can do together, the more we reach out, the more we get to know each other in a more, a better way. So I'm encouraged by some of those things.
The two magazines I brought along today are Intersections, which is the publication about the 26 colleges and universities and in there we have one of the articles by Rabbi Bell on building an interfaith bridge about her work at CLU. And then in the latest copy that has come out, the last page also accents the things that are going on up at CLU in the interfaith area that I had made a reference to. Interfaith campus organizing at California Lutheran University. So we're getting some good leadership out there in terms of our colleges and universities helping us. Our seminaries have opened up in ways that are very, very encouraging. So anyway, thanks be to God that we're at a new age, huh?
Yes.
Thank you for being here today. Yeah, any comments?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I think our younger people are drawing this, helping us in this whole area as they go to school with more people, and especially here in Thousand Oaks where you've got Amgen that pulls in people from around the globe. And so then you do get the more of the interfaith mix.
Right.
And so I think and our colleges and universities, there's a more diverse population at those places.
Right.
And we'll have sons and daughters or grandchildren or whatever, that there might be some intermarriages that will help.
Yes.
And hopefully that we can't put blockades up against some of that, but look at some of the common things that we have together.
Two of my mentors, Desmond Tutu, of course, Mary and I were in South Africa in '93 for 3 months teaching there, and we got a chance to meet with him as he spoke to 5,000 people down in Cape Town after a tragedy of a white church that had lost some members by disaster. And then, of course, I'm a big fan of Pope Francis. He has this book on care for our common home, ecological work together. So there's a lot of great resources. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.